Welcome back to a Micful podcast. You're joined by the familiar voices, also known as Badass Motherfucking Group. Here is Johnny, hi man, Brad, and me, Gabe.
Hello.
What up?
What's up?
So, Brad, something's happening this Saturday. Huge in the sporting world, bigger than the draft, which is surprising in this scenario. What is it?
Live sports.
Simple. Live sports.
We have the biggest fight card of the year so far. Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje are headlining UFC 249 with an absolutely stacked card involving I think all of our favorite fighters are on this card, or at least one of our favorites is on the card. Big night. What do you guys think about the card?
I think we shared our excitement in the last episode that jizz will be flowing wherever we are watching this. Unfortunately, it's at my parents' house. Yeah, I might have to wear a cup or something.
Is 6 feet? Is 6 feet enough distance for me, Gabe? Or should I just have like a splash zone area where I should just avoid?
6 feet, you're still gonna get a cum shotgun blast to the chest.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. Yeah,
Let's just say SeaWorld is going to take notes for my splash zone.
Oh, God.
It's gross.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Some notable fights, which I think we mentioned before as well, but just to kind of go through them again. Obviously, Ferguson Gaethje headlining. We got Henry Cejudo and Dominic Cruz for the belt. And then Ngannou's coming back to fight Rosenstruck. Pettis and Cerrone are fighting again. Hopefully Greg Hardy gets his asshole handed to him by DeCastro. Who else? We have the Karate Hottie coming in,
I'm excited for that.
She's
kind of on a slump right now, but she was on fire before for the last maybe 2 fights, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She I want to say her recent fight was against Joanna, and she lost that one decisively.
Yeah.
Nico Price coming back too. He's on a real hot streak. That's going to be a really good one. I don't think there's a single fight on this card that's like a sleeper fight where it's like you can go up and get a beer. Like just bring an ice chest into your living room. It's that good of a card.
Yeah, like usually when we plan on having or hosting one of these fights for a pay-per-view, we'll kind of figure out like, okay, well the main event starts at this time. How many prelim fights do we want to watch? What time should we actually end up going? But for this, it's basically all day. All day, you're just going to be excited. You're going to be wanting to just have your beers ready in hand and just chill the whole night.
Like from the early prelims too.
Yeah.
Like I'm legitimately, because I work on Saturdays and I don't get out of there until 6. I'm going to be at work pretty much, I think, until Greg Hardy comes on. So I'm going to have to stream the entire first half of the fight card because I'm not missing any of this shit.
Yeah. Starts at 4, right?
I want to say it starts at 2:30, 3 o'clock is when the early
prelims?
Yeah, the early prelims might start at 3:30, actually. Hold on.
Jesus.
It's 3:30.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Pacific time.
What I love about this card specifically is it just seems like we gathered the ragtag team from the UFC. Like all the people that are getting their second chances to this is the time to revitalize their career. We have Donald Cerrone and Anthony Pettis on kind of a losing streak. So a win for either of them is huge. I mean, we see that a lot in this card. We even have Justin Gaethje getting an opportunity to fight for a belt when no one would thought he would have it right now. Ferguson doesn't get the champion, but he's still fighting for a belt. So it just seems like these aren't the first choices, but we're so excited for it, and everyone deserves it. It's not ill-deserved.
Yeah, for these names, for an MMA fan, is a big deal, especially all on one card because they're all notable names. Like you said, either they're characters or they're just past champions or contenders or just fan favorites. Everyone in this card basically is has something that draws fans in. And this is why so many people are going to be so excited for this whole card.
Literally the only two fights on this card that don't have a top 15 competitor in them are the first 2 fights on the early prelim card. Like
The
that's how
Ryan
stacked this
Spann
card
and the
is.
Bryce Mitchell and
Uh,
Charles Rosa, or which one?
yeah. All four of those fighters aren't
Yeah.
top 15 contenders, and
Yeah.
the rest. Now, a lot of these guys on the card aren't top 15 contenders, but they're fighting a top 15 contender. So, like, the
Right.
only two fights without either one of them being top 15 are the first two on the early prelims, which doesn't happen. The majority of the fights, like, top 15 contenders start coming in like halfway through the prelim card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
not
they
to
all-
mention, like Gabe said, these aren't all first picks. Like, these aren't all our first picks to watch for the fight. Like, obviously Ferguson and Habib is what we all wanted. Dominic Cruz came out of nowhere to fight Cejudo. That was the fight that nobody really wanted, but there's still exciting matchups. Like, there's still going to be great fights.
I will say I'm more excited for the Dominic Cruz versus Henry Cejudo fight than I would have been if he actually fought Jose Aldo. Like
Yeah.
I'm more excited for this fight just because we haven't seen Dom in such a long time, and we know what he is capable of doing when he actually does fight. He's a savage when he gets in there. He comes back after gruesome injury after gruesome injury, just comes back and just snags everyone's titles.
I just
So
like
this
a
is-
shit talk.
Dude, he's amazing as a fighter, man. Like I don't like him. I'm not a huge fan, but I respect the shit out of him, man.
I like his calm demeanor when he's just roasting people and just burying them down in the dark secrets. Like he's just like staring them down and so casually doing it.
And Jose would have been like completely different in this fight. I feel like a matchup style, this is going to be way more interesting.
Well, especially considering too, Dominic Cruz is going to be interesting because his last real fight was in 2016.
That's when he fought, what's his face? Cheater
Dillashaw.
McGee.
Yep, Cheater McGee, exactly. Yeah, he and won that fight. He was on a winning streak, like, well, a 2-fight winning streak.
Yeah, because
to
he
Garbrandt
lost it
before
to
that.
yeah.
But he that was all in 2016. So he was supposed to fight in about a year ago in 2019. That fight got canceled, and now he's set to fight. So his first fight, really, in almost 4 years, is kind of a big deal. I apologize. He's on a losing streak. His last fight was against Garbrandt. He fought Dillashaw beginning of the year. But his first real fight in like 3.5, almost 4 years, is ring rust going to affect him? Who knows?
That's
I
ultimately
just feel like
why I stayed away from thinking he's going to win that. Is just
Yeah.
because I think the rust is going to set in. I mean, Henry Cejudo's it's not like he's coming in to fight any fighter. I mean, this is a championship level fight, so there's just less room for error in a normal kind of situation in this case, and especially now, I think there's just things. I don't know. That's my thinking is with Brad, it's going to be rusty.
And that's kind of like the way I see it too, and which is why I didn't put anything in it. Because if you see a prime John Jones was off for what, 2 years before the Ovate Improve fight, and he still came back slightly rusty. And that's the GOAT. And his prime, healthy, no injuries. Okay. So now you're taking an older veteran fighter who has had multiple injuries and surgeries in his career, and you're doubling that time gap that he was off. That's a lot more of a factor to be involved. And you're fighting someone that's young in his prime.
Well, and I will say, Cejudo hasn't fought in almost a year as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like Cejudo, yeah, I don't even know if they consider him champ or if he relinquished the flyweight belt. I think he had to because it's been over a year. But even considering that, like out of all the UFC champions, Henry Cejudo would be the one that I sleep on the most. I don't think his skills are as up to par as some of the other UFC champions. I think if you're going to make a run at one of them, he's probably the safest bet.
I think the reason why though is because he was a Olympic wrestler, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he focused so much on wrestling throughout that time, and like the same thing can be said of DC. You know, he was around for a long time, but he didn't start coming to the UFC till he was a little older because he refined his skills more like that. So when I saw Henry Cejudo, he was very raw, and now he's kind of shifting his style, more of a kickboxing in a way, or just boxing more instead of just focusing on the wrestling that he was focusing so much on earlier in his career. And
Yeah.
I feel as he develops, that is why we see him so raw in different things, because he's just trying to figure out what he can do, what works for him, what doesn't work. He's still trying to figure out his own style of fighting.
And to be fair to Cejudo, like just to kind of devil's advocate, because I agree with everything that you're saying, but just to, like I said, be devil's advocate. In his last 2 fights, that being said, Dillashaw was a really quick knockout because his
Yeah.
chin was kind of in question in that fight, dropping down 10 pounds to fight him. He doesn't I don't recall in his last 2 fights against Moraes or Dillashaw, obviously Dillashaw not, but I don't recall him using his wrestling at all in the Moraes fight, and he
No.
still won.
Yeah, and let's say that boy does not quit, because me and Gabe, we saw that fight. His legs were destroyed.
Yeah.
Moraes was just picking him apart with leg kicks, and
Mhm.
he couldn't get in. He was out of range. He couldn't step up to box or to strike or just even try to take him down. That distance was killing him, and we all looked like, how the hell is this guy still standing? His legs. Remember when he dropped Gabe to the sit on the bench and he just like stiffened? That was bad, man. Like we were surprised he made it that long. But you saw what happened when he was able to close that gap. He has that power. And I kind of see that in the same way how John Jones is the last few fights. He hasn't been using his wrestling. And I don't understand if maybe that's coming from the coach, or that for that specific fight, or it could be something else. I just don't quite understand that when you have an Olympic wrestler and you choose not to use any of that in your fighting.
Personal opinion, I believe that it was a decision on Cejudo and his coach's part to not use his wrestling, just because we are not the first people to make this argument that he's kind of obviously he's a very, very high level wrestler. I mean, you don't win gold at the Olympics without being a high level wrestler.
Right.
But I feel like he wanted to come out and prove himself in his last
Yeah.
couple of fights to say that my striking is on par with the greatest. And I
Mhm.
think that's why he opted to not use his wrestling as much. Because I remember in the Moraes fight, I don't think he tried shooting for until the second round.
Yeah.
So by then his legs were destroyed and he couldn't really shoot as well as he should have. So, but at the same time, I feel like he went into the first round just swinging because he decided, I'm going to prove that I can stand and bang with the rest of them.
Yeah, and that could go either way, really, when you approach a fight like that. Kind of like how Jose Aldo approached the Conor McGregor fight. He was focused too much on his emotional aspect of it. He wasn't going in technical. He went in for the kill right away, and what happened? He got popped, you know? So I feel like you kind of have to reel yourself back. Like you understand you're trying to prove something, but how about you just try focusing on winning the fight instead of trying to focus on showing people, you can do it this way or whatever. And
Which
to touch on your point of how you're like, well, I don't know if he's really a champ because he kind of like, he never defended or he had to relinquish it. Connor, me and Gabe were just talking about this the other day. Connor has never, not once, defended a single belt. A single belt.
no,
And I think it's a lot harder to defend a belt than to win it, personally. But yeah.
well, and I think that McGregor should have been stripped as well. Those are the rules. You should get
Yeah.
stripped if you don't defend your title within a year. But to kind of touch back on the Cejudo fight this next weekend, I do think that we are going to see him use his grappling, use his striking, use everything to his full potential, just because last year he proved that he can stand and bang and still win a fight. So I think we're going to see a lot more grappling, him use his whole realm of martial arts experience in this fight. I do expect him to take it to the ground at some point.
He's going to need to, because as much as a lot of people love TJ, he's not as well-rounded as Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is as a technical striker. He's going to need to be able to create that gap and take him down just to give himself kind of that space to work.
Johnny, Gabe, you guys got any opinions?
Ultimately, not really. I mean, do we want to go through each fight we gave a kind of prediction of who we think's gonna win?
Um, I mean, we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys just want to start at the top and work our way down?
Yeah, I think we should at least finish off the Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz. I think we talked everything we can on that fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny, unless you got any last minute.
Are we doing the prediction on that fight right now, or like we're gonna go down?
Well,
Yeah.
we could. Do you guys want to just move actually from the bottom up for the predictions? Because I think we'll wrap around to that at the end, obviously, so we're not just scattered on it. I mean, do you guys have any opinions on Span and Alvey or Rosa and Mitchell? Because I mean, those guys are kind of up and comers. Nobody's really seen their stuff. I guess if you're like really, really dedicated and you're able to watch all the early prelims and everything like that, but
Yeah, no, I've only seen Mitchell fight once, and that was it. Not really the rest.
yeah, and I feel like I've seen Span fight before, but not enough to know his capability. But Luque and Price, I think we all have an opinion on that one.
Yeah, I think Price.
Yep. Yeah, Price. That dude's a savage, and he's coming off a really good winning streak.
Yeah, I got Price winning that. I know he's the underdog coming into this, but at the same time, he's just a killer. I think his last 2 fights he ended with knockouts from the bottom.
Yeah, weird knockouts from the bottom.
Yeah, like that dude is just crazy. Like he's just a knockout artist, dude. Like he'll find a way to end the fight.
Also got some sick tattoos.
Yeah.
So he gets bonus style points for that. I feel like that's absolutely disrespectful that they're having him at that much of an underdog. Like, that's weird. That's just weird to me. But I think he's gonna take this one too. Moving on, we got Jacare and Uriah Hall. What do you guys think?
I see this one a lot closer, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go with Hall. I feel like he's been steadily improving and showing kind of that height that we all saw in the Ultimate Fighter. He just needs to be more consistent, man.
Yeah, I have Hall as well. I think he could. It's going to be tight, like you said, but I think if I were to give an edge, I think Hall could do it.
I go for it, Johnny.
I don't know. I like Jacare. Wasn't he supposed to fight for the title like a couple months ago, and then they just never gave him a fight, right? Because I don't think he fought. He was like in discussion to be up next to. I think it was either to fight John Jones.
I was going to go with Jacare as well.
Yeah.
I think people were. I was hearing mumbles about how Jacare would be in contention. I think you're right.
Was that? That's not 205, right? That's 185.
No, it's 185.
Yeah, I want to say he was supposed to fight Whitaker, and then Whitaker got hurt, and then they just, I think for some reason they just gave Adesanya that shot.
For the belt though.
He's
Yeah,
coming
I
off
don't
a two-loss streak.
Yeah.
He is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is.
It was a while ago, but I don't think it was
Maybe it was
that
a while ago
recent.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have to give it to him though. The dude's really good. He's lost
Yeah.
3 of his last 4 fights now that I'm looking at his record. But still, I still like him. He's still a good fighter. The dude's been fighting a long time, and he's very, very well rounded. Uriah Hall is really good though too, and he's looked good in his last couple of fights. But I still have to give it to Souza. It's something about him.
It's just that inconsistency, man.
So it's something about him being
That
Brazilian.
inconsistency.
It's Brazilian.
Oh.
Come on. Moving on, we got Esparza and Watterson.
Gonna go with my girl, Karate Hottie. Going for Michelle, man. Mom Chap, let's go. I want her to compete, bro. And she got on that little fight win streak, and I was hyped up for her, and then she just got taken down. She got knocked out. You know, they weren't good. They just stylistically, she wasn't at that level yet, you know. And
To be honest, I don't know if she ever will be. I
really I know that's the thing. Like I root for her though. It's kind of like a Cowboy scenario, but for me, you know what I mean. Like I don't think Cowboy will ever win a title or ever be close to it. But I just like that's like someone I just root for, and I want her to win every single fucking time I see her fight.
I feel the exact same way about her too. I like her more for personal reasons, just because I like who she is as a person. But really, like honestly, I think if I was to bet, I would bet for my heart on this one, and I would throw money on Watterson. But realistically, I still think Esparza's gonna win.
I know, but I just can't, bro. I just can't go against her.
Yeah.
And she's a dime, so it's like I have to.
Yeah, on this one, I also have Carla Esparza. I like Michelle Watterson, but realistically thinking who's going to win, I think it's going to be Carla Esparza.
Same.
Yeah.
Hyman made it interesting, so he gets bragging rights. And
I know.
We'll all be happy, but we'll all be like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I have faith, you bastards.
Next up, we got Fabricio Werdum and Alexei Olenek.
I
like Verdum on this one.
I'm going for Olenek.
I'm going for Olenek as well.
He had a good submission in his last fight against Green, who was that dude was like massive, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He had a big size advantage on him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean he's on his last before that he was knocked out 2 times in a row.
He was almost knocked out in the Green fight. He was.
Yeah.
That dude was looking close to death.
Yeah.
But the dude, and honestly, I hope, to be honest with you, I hope Werdum wins. Because I like him better. Olenek's just like a dirty fighter. It's like I don't know how many times that I've seen him get yelled at for like eye pokes and kicks to the crotch and grabbing the fence. Like the refs are constantly yelling at him. And he just seems like he does some dirty shit when he's in the octagon, and I don't like dirty fighters. So I'm going to have to root for Werdum, but I think Olenek's going to win it.
But Olenek's going to win because when he's doing like some kind of choke from the bottom position, he's going to be squeezing his nuts at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Gross.
I want to say he's the one who's gotten no, it wasn't. What the fuck was it?
No, it wasn't him. It was somebody else. When he was like where they were in the clinch or whatever, he like grabbed someone's dick, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but he I'm forgetting what the submission's called. It's like a rear naked choke, but from the front. What the fuck is it?
Oh,
how am I forgetting this one? I've tried to land it a few times and failed every single time. Ezekiel chokes. Yeah. The dude's
That's just
Ezekiel
hard to
choke
get.
it is, yeah. Especially in Nogi, like they're emulating in the UFC.
Yeah.
That Ezekiel choke's gross. And I'm looking at his record. He's landed 12 of them for submission wins.
Who?
Olenek.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, Olenek's 58-13.
yeah.
Dude's been fighting a long
How
time.
old is this guy? I'm over here. Verdum's 42 years old. Like, what the fuck? How old is Olenek?
He's also 42.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's
stone fists coming at your way.
He's Russian, that's why, man.
Yeah. They get a lot of fights early on in their record.
Jeez.
But yeah, he's gonna be his submission game is top notch, and I think that's gonna be what kind of does it. I mean, you don't earn the nickname the boa constrictor by not choking the fuck out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I mean that's just why I think he's gonna win. His submission game is really, really top notch, and he's proven that he can still find these super sneaky submissions that a lot of people don't even use. I mean, when the fuck was the last time you heard of an Ezekiel choke coming out of anybody but Olenek in the UFC?
It's kind of like how I see Ferguson with the Darce.
Yeah.
He has more Darce submissions than I think anybody in the UFC combined, if I'm right. That is
right.
insane.
Yeah. Which the Darce in the UFC is not necessarily a super sneaky choke. That one's
it's just no one does it though. It's just like no one does it.
It's just that's that 10th planet funk that he brings. He's got that weird shit.
Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, fucking Eddie Bravo. He's gonna smoke a whole bunch of weed before the match get real loose. Moving on, we got Hardy and DeCastro.
I have DeCastro all the way. I think he has a higher percentage of winning on multiple reasons. The main one, Greg Hardy might win this fight, and then it's no longer a win. It's like happened once by illegal kicking. I don't know if it was a knee or a kick.
I think you need him.
Yeah, you need a grounded opponent.
Yeah, the other one get to take puffs of an inhaler, so they called it a no contest.
Yep.
So I think DeCastro has a higher chance of it just him not losing.
Now,
So you're saying that there's higher chance that
Yeah, you're saying
Hardy's gonna
Greg,
fuck it up.
yeah,
than
Greg Hardy
actually
beats
him
himself.
win. Yeah.
DeCastro doesn't win. Greg Hardy loses. There's a difference.
Makes sense.
Castro is 6-0 though, and like 2
Yeah.
in the like 1 UFC and then 1 in the Contender Series. So
It's
Now-
just it's
I don't like Hardy just because he's a scumbag piece of shit, but he is a really good fighter. The dude's an
athlete,
animal.
bro.
Yeah,
Athlete. Just
It's like
monster.
a semi truck running at you, swinging. Like it's nasty. But I think he's proven in his past couple of fights he's making these dumb, stupid mistakes because he hasn't had all the like rookie amateur experience because he got thrown into the spotlight so early. Like if you get DQ'd from kneeing a downed opponent in an amateur fight or some dumb inhaler shit, like rookie mistake, whatever. It's like Cowboy blowing his nose. They should have known better. But these are mistakes that he's making on the big stage because he was on the big stage to begin with.
right.
That being said, he's still a scumbag, and I hope he dies. Johnny?
Sounds about right.
That being said, he's my pick to win.
He's honestly my pick to win, too.
I think he's the next closest thing to Francis Ngannou as far as
Ooh.
power
Jeez.
and just
That's a
You know,
bold statement.
Yeah.
throwing
You know who-
haymakers wise.
You know who Ngannou's facing?
Yeah, but okay, he's an up and coming Ngannou. I should say.
better.
He's
Better.
Ngannou-esque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
I mean, that's just because Ngannou hasn't. From the fights I've seen, I haven't seen him wrestle much. I haven't seen Hardy wrestle much. I mean, other than the fight he lost or he got DQ'd in, where they just took him down, made him look like a bitch.
I just don't think anyone wants to take Ngannou down just due to time constraints. Like, if you blast a double leg on him, it's going to be 45 seconds before that guy finally hits the mat. Like, he's just so big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
and that's the thing. You have to exhaust so much energy just to bring him down.
Mm-hmm. It's
I would
like
say-
knocking down a skyscraper.
Hardy does have some decent takedown defense though, from his fights I've seen.
But has he gone up against a high-level takedown artist yet?
No, that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You put him up against DC or some other high-level Olympic wrestler. Like, if he was fighting Olenek, that man would be on the ground getting
Oh, yeah.
molested. But yeah, we'll see. We'll get to our bet picks in a minute for our fun little competition here. But I'm betting against him, but the smart pick would be to bet him because I think he's going to win. But I hate
Yeah,
him much.
I
I'm betting
think that's kind of
hard.
just how the whole podcast feels like that. We all kind of see Hardy winning. I mean, Gabe went as far as saying that Hardy has a better chance to lose it
Yeah.
than his opponents actually win it.
I will say he needs to come out angry like he used to. He doesn't do
He
that
does.
anymore.
He does, yeah. He needs to go out like he's about to swing on his ex-wife for sure.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Moving on. Moving on to the prelim headliner. We have Pettis versus Cerrone 2. I think this is the first super hype fight on the entire card. All the other ones are good, but this is one we all have a stake in.
When I was talking about earlier about how, everyone kind of has something to prove, I think this is the fight that really says that. I mean, Cerrone needs to win. He needs to win tonight, or Saturday, without question. And if you are going to lose Cerrone, my plea to you is get out of the fucking first round, please.
Yeah.
Show me you could do something out of the first round, because I know he's a slow starter, but I just think he doesn't have it to stay in the first round and then make those miraculous fights that he's used to, or being after the first fight. He went against very aggressive people in Ferguson and McGregor that didn't even
Diaz.
allow him,
Yeah.
and Diaz, to even allow him to have that slow start. So
But
if I was
Cerrone-
Anthony Pettis, I would start that fast.
Cerrone's proven that he can lose in the second round as well.
Yeah.
I love Cerrone, but
Yeah.
the
He's got to win.
I'm not gonna lie. I
my
don't.
pick.
Who won the first one?
Cerrone Pettis. I want to say it was
Yeah.
Pettis. Give me a second. Yeah, Pettis won it. TKO in round 1.
Jesus. Oh God, Gabe.
Get out of the first.
That being said, it was their
Wait,
last fight.
Hold on. Let Gabe say.
Oh,
Let
I
Gabe say
said
who.
it is Donald Cerrone's my pick.
Yeah,
I think he wins.
I'm betting with my heart on this one as well. I'm going Cerrone. Yeah, Johnny.
I'm going Cowboy, and I saw his interview he did recently where he talked about the McGregor fight, and that he pretty much said he did not want to be there, like before the fight even started.
I saw that too.
Yeah, he said that wasn't Cowboy, that was Donald that showed up to that fight. So I think he's going to come to this fight
He's,
ready to kick some ass. I think he's going to get the win.
did he say why? He just wasn't feeling it.
He
or
just said
what?
he wasn't into it. He wasn't in the. He's like he knew it was a
That
big fight for
mindset.
him, that he needed that win, but that he's like, he just when he got there, he just said he wasn't like there.
I wonder if that's like signs, not like saying he will, but I'm wondering if that's like the early signs of retirement.
It definitely
is
is.
a disease.
I agree with you though, Gabe. That is definitely a early sign of retirement. If a fighter goes into a fight and they're not feeling it, especially when you have that high of expectations and hype running into the fight. I want to say it was the co-main for that card. Big time fight, and he's not feeling it against one of the biggest names in the UFC, if not the biggest name in the UFC, and you're not feeling it, that's scary. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, and then he said like to not feel like I want to be there, and then just come out and just get kicked in the face.
Yeah,
like he's like, yeah, he said that took a toll. And then yeah, to just speak on the retirement thing, it's like one of my favorite players, Charles Woodson, when he retired, he said he just woke up one morning and just didn't feel like it. He knew it was done. Like he knew he was done.
Oh, I don't see it in the light of he's gonna retire, because I see it in the stigma that Cowboy has always had kind of that issue where a lot of people see him how he never shows up to big fights. So I just kind of see that as kind of more of an example, kind of like that just shows that people were right to think that, because he has always kind of in his whole career something like that has happened where he has not shown up or something's been off. And I'm going to go with Pettis just because I love Pettis. I love both of them, but I just think Pettis is just going to take this. And let's be honest, we haven't seen – I just want to see Cowboy fight like he did in the Ali Quinna fight, man. That was him focused. That was him lasered. He picked apart Ali Quinta, dude. He smashed him. He picked him apart. He left his legs fucked up. And I feel like was such – like when we saw that, from Cowboy, me, Gabe, I don't know if Johnny was there. I don't think so. But we got so excited because we saw that and we thought that's how we were going to get Cowboy for the rest of his fights after that. We saw him like re-energize and just focus on it.
Yeah, that was coming off the Mike Perry win too, where he said he was trying to rip his arm off like a chicken wing. Like he broke the fuck out of Mike Perry's arm that fight, especially with all the anger behind that fight with the whole issue with Donald Cerrone being kicked off that I forget what team he was on, the fucking what was the same team that John Jones trains on, I believe.
Jackson's.
Yeah, Wink MMA. That was when he started his own Cowboy fight camp. Like, so that was a big fight. And then yeah, the Ali Quinta one was really good too. And then he went on a 3-fight losing streak, and Pettis hasn't fared much better. He's on a 2-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
So this is a really big fight to turn either one of their careers around. Obviously, late in their careers, they've both been fighting a long time. So we'll see.
So just to keep in mind, so I'm the only one going for Pettis. My heart's with Cowboy, but I just don't see it going that way. The rest of you guys got Cowboy.
Yeah. I think it's like continuing like how big of a fight this is for either of them. I think it could still keep Cowboy's career rejuvenated and alive. I don't think, even speaking on retirement predictions, I don't even think after this fight he would. I think there's just still so much heart and like pride in Cowboy to ever want to quit. But I think a loss here definitely puts that in perspective for him. I mean, to have his kid named Danger and the other one Riot, I don't think he's willing to throw in yet. Like, I think he's gonna go to death's door in the octagon, but you have to wonder: is he thinking about that if he loses Saturday?
I don't think so. And Cowboys, he's come back from bigger loss streaks than this before, but he's said before a few times that he's going to fight until he's damn near in the coffin. Like,
oh, I believe that 100%.
Yeah, the dude's a maniac. He just likes fighting. So, but who knows? We'll see.
When his other son wasn't born yet, right?
No, his other son's still not born.
Okay, when he is born, he'll go on a win streak. Because that's what he did when he had his last one.
That was exactly what happened. Yeah, said he was fighting for Danger now, and no, he's still 2-5 since Danger's been born. All right, moving on to the main card. We have Calvin Kattar and Jeremy Stevens. What do you got?
I have Qatar because it sounds like guitar. So.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I know nothing about these two, so I'm gonna just go with Qatar.
I haven't seen Qatar fight. I do know about Jeremy Stevens, so I'm just gonna go with Jeremy Stevens. I know he's the underdog, but I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, Qatar hasn't fought in a big fight in a while, I don't think. I'm looking at his record right now. Let me see when his last one was. It was against Zabit, and he lost. But everyone loses to UFC Abe Lincoln. So,
yeah.
Yeah, his last victory was against Ricardo Lamas in beginning of or middle of 2019. But
and he's
I'm still gonna go with Stevens as well. That dude's a bad man.
Yeah, I got Stevens winning
it. Yeah. That one's not, to be honest, after coming off of we talked about this before too, is that Pettis and Cerrone are in the spot for the headline of the prelim because they need a big fight to headline the prelim, but really that fight should be in the number 5 main card spot. It's just a bigger, better fight.
De Castro actually came out and said that.
Really?
Yeah, he thought his fight with Greg Hardy should have been on the undercard, and that they should have put like one of the other fights on the main card, whether that was Werdum versus Olynyk or Cowboy Pettis. But he said he said at the same time UFC is just back in general, so everyone should just be happy.
That's true.
Weird because in the main card, when you look it up under the UFC page, it'll give you like the main card, the prelim, the early prelims. So in the main card, they actually do have what's his name, Greg Hardy and De Castro as the first fight, which is really weird.
That is the first fight on the main card.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Weren't we just talking about the cater? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean?
We fucked them up. We switched up the order.
Yeah, we just had Anthony Pettis ahead of Greg Hardy and De Castro.
Yeah, it goes Pettis and Cerrone to Greg Hardy and Castro, and then Stevens and Qatar.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like, wait, what? What do you mean?
All right.
Okay.
Moving on to the top 3, though. We got Ngannou versus Rosenstruck. Who you guys got? I think I know the answer.
I got Francis.
I got Francis.
Yep, Ngannou. The dude is a fucking bad. He just swung a hammer for like the first 16 years of his life until he had to flee a fucking country. I don't know a harder man than Francis Ngannou. That dude's insane.
My dick looking at this card.
Yeah,
dude. And have you heard that him talking about how his coach wants to get him into boxing after this?
Jeez.
Into
Wait,
boxing?
hold on. So now he's going to be a defensive end, a boxer, and a UFC fighter?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, whoever ends up boxing him, man, holy shit.
He just started fighting, like, what was it, like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
It was very recently.
He doesn't have much experience.
Which it shows sometimes in his fights.
Did you guys hear the story about Ngannou? Like how he got into MMA?
No. I think I have, I just don't remember.
So he was in Cameroon. I want to say it was Cameroon as a salt miner, and was escaped Cameroon. I forget why exactly he escaped, and how he got to France is still only answered by him. He hasn't shared it because it was some illegal activity crossing borders and shit, which he's actually said, like, I'm not going to talk about how I got to France because it was extremely illegal. got to France, started training, and he was training boxing originally, and was doing good. And his coach told him, like, hey, you want to make money fast? Get into MMA. You could be a star and you could win money quicker because the money isn't as big at the top end. Like, you don't have these multi-million-dollar fight purses unless you're the number one guy. But you're able to start making big bucks earlier in your career. So Ngannou got into the UFC, and now look where he is today.
Damn.
Yeah, dude's a savage.
Either way, it's going to be an awesome fight. Like, even though we unanimously chose Ngannou, like, there's going to be so many swingers' choice in this fight, just because I'm hoping they're just going to be in a telephone booth.
Yeah, don't sleep on Stevens or Rosenstruck. I mean, he's a savage.
I know.
So co-main event, we have Cejudo and Cruz, which we kind of, well, definitely not kind of. We touched on the entire first part of the episode, but we didn't get our picks in. Who do you guys got?
That's Cejudo.
I also have Cejudo.
I also have Dominic Cruz.
Also,
You also
want
have
Dominic- I want-
you're the
I want
only
Dominic.
one picking Dominic Cruz.
me, myself, and
Yeah.
we all choose.
I don't know, man. I just feel like Cejudo's not going to take him serious, and I kind of just sleep on him.
The king of cringe? You mean the king of cringe wouldn't take a fight seriously?
Yeah, I do. I think he's going to sleep on. I think he's going to underestimate him, and he's going to get caught.
That's a
I
fair.
agree with Brad.
Yeah,
I
I
can
can see
see that, but I think he's too much of a nerd.
Yeah. He yeah, I think Cejudo's focused too much on his upcoming fight with Valentina Shevchenko for the intergender world champion. So he could be thinking about bigger things on the horizon. She already won their last
Oh my
fight in the
God.
fucking press booth or whatever when she choked him the fuck out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's going to be a good fight, and I'm going to be happy with whoever wins. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time. Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje.
I got Tony.
Tony.
God damn it! I don't want to pick Tony. I don't like him. I'm assuming he wins.
I don't
but
like
I
Tony.
want Gaethje.
Yeah, I don't like Tony either. I want Gaethje to win, but Tony's winning that fight. Come on.
He's just too good, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's.
I know. It's
Like I've been
anything
saying,
can happen, man.
I want him to win so bad because I
Who?
want him to go. Ferguson. I want Ferguson to
Oh
win so
my-
bad so he can have an actual title shot.
well, he's had that like 4 times.
He looks.
Oh, I know. But I mean, like,
he looks
actually fight.
best with his fake ones.
We've
He
talked
looks
about
best
it
with his fake
before.
titles. All right.
Tony Ferguson hasn't lost a fight since 2012, mid 2012. It's been 8 years since that man lost a fight that wasn't to an electric wire on the ground. The man's a savage. To put that into perspective,
Well, I am calling it now. Submission by Ferguson.
Oh wow! What a shocker, Gabe. You're going way out there for that.
Oh yeah, Gabe. Knockout.
I was like saying. It's like
that
saying.
one is a tough one. Well, no,
It's
because
like
honestly,
saying, "Hey man, Ngannou knockout."
but if Ferguson can get Gaethje down, which I think he could,
It's not
but
that hard.
no, I know.
to put Ferguson's record into perspective, his last loss was in May 2012. The first sanctioned female UFC bout was November 2012. 6 months after Tony Ferguson's last loss. That's a wild
Michael
record to have.
Johnson.
Michael Johnson. That's a wild fucking record. Either way, it's going to be a great fight card. And I believe our next podcast is recording the day after that fight, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
should still
What if
have
Justin
a lot of hype.
Gaethje? What if Justin Gaethje comes out wearing wires as a shirt?
Damn.
Would that affect Tony in any capacity?
No, he comes out walking on wires to show him what he can do.
Damn. Like a WWE
Intimidation.
cape made out of wires, a little psychological warfare. Damn.
I'm just curious to see if Gaethje's going to still like do leg kicks against Ferguson. The man sharpens his shins with razor blades. It might be
Oh my
dangerous.
god.
Might be dangerous, man. You get checked and half your legs gone already.
Damn.
We're bringing in the Tony memes now, are we? There's so many.
Didn't Tony show up to one of his press conferences when like him and Habib were supposed to fight for like the fourth fucking time with just a big tiramisu because Habib didn't make weight the fight before or had to drop out for the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just showed up with a tiramisu.
He just kept screaming it too.
What a fucking goofball.
Dude, did you see the weigh-ins that 2 times that he did the stands, or like, you know how the face-offs, and you know how they stand next to Dana? He did it for 2 times. He screamed, and Dana freaked out both times.
No, he does it a bunch. I think he's.
Well, yeah, but like he did those both times to Dana, like during, I think it was the Khabib fight for both, and he just freaked the fuck out both times. It was like, ah.
Yeah, and he's always waiting for it too. And he's like,
Yeah.
you see the expression on Dana's face, like, when is he gonna do it? And they're like, ah, and then he gets him every time.
So I really gotta wonder. Speaking of weigh-ins, how are all these fighters gonna make weight? I'm wondering if because they've all been. I mean, they've all been sort of set to fight, and Ferguson made weight 2-3 weeks ago, and he was supposed to fight Habib. Like the dude, did you see his Instagram where he was posting pictures on the scale at 155? Like he made weight for a fight that wasn't happening. So
Yeah.
I don't think Ferguson's going to have a problem making weight at all. Everyone else, though, I'm a little worried about.
I had that conversation with Dave.
You had an idea for it.
I had it more of it be like, so I know the majority, I was telling Gabe, a lot of the majority of the fighters were already scheduled to fight, but a lot of these weren't. And I was questioning, were they notified before? Like, that's kind of hard. Like, hey, we need you to be kind of prepared to make this weight for a 3-4 month gap where we can have a fight. So I was telling Gabe, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did kind of more of a catch weight where it would be, say it's a 155. They gave you like 3 pounds, 158 or something like that. Kind of like a leniency weight. Because this is like really all sudden. Like, obviously we don't know how they were communicating, how they're making the fights happen. I just feel like a lot of these fighters were so short, like notified, and just to make weight, man, you need at least 2 to 3 weeks just to plan. The reason why I say that is because you need at least 1 week kind of like to figure out how you're going to cut the weight, how much weight you're cutting, and then just that week to cut it down.
Well, most fight camps are, I want to say, 6 to 8 weeks long, and they start prep for weight cuts when that fight starts. They start eating healthier. They have their meals planned out ahead of time. They're not focused on the weight cut until the last week and a half before the fight, when they get really serious about the weight cut, because they're training the entire time.
It's just a preparation that takes longer, which is why I'm like questioning, like, how are they going to do it? Are they going to have like a 3-pound leniency weight or just something? Because I just think you're asking these fighters not only to fight. I know. Like, here's the thing. Like, we have these announced, right, for the first one for May 9th. A lot of those were from the previous card.
Mm-hmm.
What about for the other 2 cards that haven't been announced yet?
No.
Like, I don't know about that. Like, how are they gonna be weighed or anything? How's that situation gonna go? Because I don't think they were prepared to fight.
Some of the fights on those cards have been announced. We'll kind of get into some of the top picks next, but
Okay.
Dana White, I heard somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where I heard it from, but I did hear that he was saying to all fighters, like, be prepared to make weight at any time. That being said, these guys got these fight contracts on like a 2-week notice, and that's not enough time to make weight fully.
No. Because you do have to train for the opponent you're fighting also. You kind of have to squeeze that in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then training for a fight is not the same thing as making weight. Those are 2 separate things. One of them you're actually preparing for the fight, and the other one is you're cutting down the weight to be able to fight. It's not the same thing.
Well, Ngannou, for instance, just because I saw it on his Instagram, his last live sparring round was, I want to say, either Thursday or Friday. So to put it into perspective for Ngannou, whose weight, his top weight can be 265 pounds. That's a lot of fucking man. He's a big boy, but he's going to dedicate either last Thursday, last Friday, this is now Sunday where we're recording, to making weight, to get down to the top level of the heavyweight division. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work and it's a lot of effort. But kind of briefly touching on the cards coming up on the, the 16th and the 19th, we have Oh, hold on, I think I'm looking at the wrong card. The hell, real professional.
Isn't it 12th or is it
Um,
the 16th?
The 13th and then the 16th. I
Okay.
apologize. The fight card on the 13th, headlined by Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira.
Ooh.
Fire. Co-main by Ben Rothwell and OSP, who I think in our group text we were saying there's a lot of shit talking about OSP going on by a certain somebody, and I want you to defend yourself. Yeah, you.
Who?
With me?
Pretty sure it was Johnny who was talking shit about OSP, right?
The guy with the mic muted.
When?
I thought you were talking shit about OSP. Who was talking shit about OSP?
I didn't reply, so I didn't. That wasn't me.
Oh,
Okay, so-
anyway, OSP's bad, man. That dude's gotten so many fucking Von Flu chokes that it's disrespectful. Like, a Von Flu choke is one that you get tapped out to one time in training, and then nobody ever taps you out to it again because it's so easy to defend. You just let go, and him to get that at the highest level of martial arts is ridiculous. I just had to pepper that in.
OSP, just know if anyone bad mouths you, Brad's got your back.
That's right. That's right. They have to go through me before they get to you, buddy. Next fight card, the one on the 16th, headlined by Overeem and Walt Harris. We got the Las Vegas local, Claudia Gadelha, versus Angela Hill. And I believe those are the only like really big names on.
I want Angela to take that fight. I'm excited for that.
Damn, disrespectful of my girl.
Ah, dude, but Angela, man, I love her.
I don't like Claudia Gadelha as a person. She's just
She said
from around here.
She says she's gonna be the titty what is it, the titty exposer. She's like, yeah, next time when I fight Paige, I'm just gonna like pop the titty out and stuff. I was like, what?
That's funny as hell.
On the Joe Rogan podcast, and everyone on the comments was like, yeah, that's right. She's a woman of the people.
Claudia Gadelha, to me, she just seems fucking stuck up. I've never actually met her in person, but she was for a while sponsored by Protein House, which is across the street from my place here. I would literally see her Porsche in the parking lot like 2 times a week when I was getting home from work. Like, she's been very close to me. I should just show up one day. I don't know if she's sponsored by them anymore, and just be like, hey, what's up, girl? How you doing?
Guest. Special guest.
So it's okay.
Special.
Yeah.
She's gonna see this episode. She'd be like, "Oh fuck that." Bad
Yeah.
mouth.
I guess I'm never going there again. Fucking creeps know where I'm at. He drives the most obnoxious white Porsche. It's not easy to
subtle.
hide. Yeah, it's not subtle at all. But anyway, I think that's all the UFC news. Do you guys have anything else we want to touch on before we get into weird sports?
Well,
Oh,
we
wait,
need
are
the
we doing
odds.
the bets.
Oh, our bets. That's right. All right. So to fill in the audience, we each got 500 theoretical dollars. And here's where we're going to place them. And we're going to see after the fight next week on the podcast who won the most theoretical money.
Oh, we weren't supposed to put real money?
I mean,
You're a big baller.
I did hear the person that loses has to use their stimulus check on this next time.
ooh,
What the fuck? Where was this in the contract, sir?
good
Hey,
luck.
we-
I still haven't got mine.
It'll
Or my
be
fucking
Brad.
tax return.
I haven't done my taxes.
Wow, must be nice.
Me either.
Well, they extended it to like July.
Yeah, because of this whole shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Still though, I did mine in the beginning of March. I'm still mad. I haven't gotten it yet.
Who wants to go first? Well, Brad, let's go with you because I think you said you were. Like,
Should someone write
Okay.
all? Should someone keep track of everyone so no one?
I'll write them.
I have mine written down.
Yeah,
Here.
just don't
Me
lie.
too.
Yeah.
We can always look back at the episode if like we think someone lied.
If any of us lie here, you're the scummiest piece
Hey,
of shit.
right?
Hey, and,
Like-
if you have it written down, just take a picture of it and send it in the group chat. After.
All right,
Okay.
that's fair. I'll
Me
send
and
it
Johnny,
right now.
me and Johnny can't really lie since Brad did our math.
Yeah.
It's true. All right.
I did add
All right,
mine
Brad, go.
together.
I'm sending my picture right now. So I put $100 on Ferguson. If I win that fight, according to Vegas odds right now, which we're recording Sunday the 3rd, the odds may change as the fight appears, but we're gonna base all of our bets on the odds as of today.
Mhm.
So I put my money on Ferguson, $100. He is obviously the favorite, and I'm set to win $58. Next up, I put 50 on Cejudo, set to win 21. Put 100 on Ngannou, set to win 37. $50 on Jeremy. Yeah, I know that's such an embarrassing amount to win for $100 bet to win 37. But I pick safe bets. I want to win this shit. I want Gabe to say, "I love your squash, Brad."
And it can happen, dude. I'm going for the home run. I'm going for the home run, dude.
Same.
Me too. All we need is one fight to be right, and we just automatically beat Brad.
Yeah, Gabe's. I put $100 on, or I put $500 on Rosenstruck. Yeah. Next is $50 on Jeremy Stevens to win $102. De Castro, I put 50 on. Like I said, still think Hardy's gonna win, but betting with my heart, I'll win 80 if that one goes down. Next one up is Olenek. Put another 50 on it for 127 winning, and Nico Price threw $100 on for 225 earnings for a total of 650 if all of my fights are W's.
Okay.
How much do you win if they're all W's?
650, and then you get your 500 back too. So
Holy crap, that is bad.
yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Let's
I told
go
you.
with
I told you it was a low
Jaime.
number.
Let's go with Jaime.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh shit, man. So bad, Brad. So I put 300 of the 500 theoretical dollars on Nico Price, who is a plus 225 underdog. So my earnings for that, my winnings would be 675. For Michelle Watterson, I put 50 on her, so my earnings would be $60.50. On Gaethje, I put $50, so my winnings would be 75. Then for the last one, I got $100 on Rosenstruck. I got my winnings would be 230 for a total, not including the 500, 1,042.
And we're doing total amount at the end, right? So like I'm set to win 650, but technically I'll have 1150 at the end of the day.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So who's
All
up?
right, Johnny. I'm going last.
Wait, Jaime, how much did you say for your total?
1,042.
Yeah.
That's winning. So it's
Yeah.
1,542.
Yeah, 15.
Okay. So I put 200 on Nico, which would give me 450. $100 on Olenek, which would be 255. $60 on Stevens.
Whoa. Oh, wait, no, you're right. You're good.
Bro,
Never
do
mind.
my math, bro. Come on.
No, I know. You're good.
I think Gabe did your math actually, all in his head.
Big brains.
Who did? Okay, 60 on Stevens for 123. 40 on Cowboy, which would be 44. And then $100 on Dominic Cruz, which would give me 200. For a grand total of $1,072.
Ooh.
So, I want to preface this by saying the rules were you had $500 to bet however you would like on this card. It is not my fault you only stuck with these odds because I bet, and I use these odds for the fights, 200 on Sam Alvey, which would give me $600. $100 on Cerrone, which would give me $110. 75 on I always say Struck.
Rosenstruck.
Rosenstruck for $172.50. Now this is where I went different. I bet $100 that Ferguson gets a submission. My payout is $260. Now this is where it gets really fun. I put $25 on Gaethje getting a submission, and it'll.
What do you get? Like $2,000?
$650, bringing my total to $1,792. Although
Scumbag.
it would
Hold on, not both of them can get a submission.
I know, so it would be less than that of either the 260, but of what I could possibly like where it could be, it's 1,792. Because then it's minus 650 or minus 260, so you'd have to find the differential of that. which would
You
still
mean
be way
you
higher.
would?
Which
Well,
would be
it's
way
not
higher
that-
than all of you guys. Still, it'd be
It's
like
not
still
minus
1,000.
six. It's not minus 650 though. It's minus whatever money you put in. Like you'll still have a big payout either way if either one of them
Oh,
gets
yeah.
submission.
I'm
So
not trying to win. I'm just trying not to lose at this point, man.
damn.
Yeah, I will lose if none of these come true. But
Well,
Yeah, if none of them come true, we all lose. So, like,
Michelle, please win. I have
This is
faith.
this is what's shitty. If Nico Price win,
I win.
I could win every single one of my fights, and Jaime still beats me.
I win. I just win. 675 right off the bat right there. Let's go, Nico.
Jesus. All right, so those are our odds. The bets have been locked in and set. I think everyone. No, Gabe and Jaime still have to send their pictures into the group chat.
Oh.
And then we're
Yeah,
good
this
to
is
go.
the breakdown of it. So
Perfect. All right. So now we know there will be some shit talking next Saturday night. Do we want to talk about the marble races?
yes,
Dude, yes, the marble races were a magnificent addition to ESPN, and they should be kept.
That was legit some of the best shit that I've watched.
I like how they did so many different races though. So they had the standard one, then they did the off-road one where they're like on like dirt. And
Yeah.
they had like a little slope. And then the other one where they had the blocks and then the marbles would just have to push them and whoever like got farthest. Like that's so crazy, man.
100% the guy who designed that's a fucking serial killer. Who has that much time? Who has that much time to sit there and fucking set up Legos for Marble Olympics? Like that was ridiculous.
Imagine being paid for that though. That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah, he had stands and crowds. They had a streaker and everything. It was amazing. It was like watching actual sports.
That's insane, dude.
We had professional stone skipping yesterday, which I don't know about. I don't know if you guys saw professional stone skipping yesterday, but I'm 110% certain that I could be a professional stone skipper after watching.
What was
that.
the max that they had?
It's like fucking 18.
What?
And even then, yeah, those guys too, when they were counting the numbers, like they were like, oh yeah, this, and that, and blah, blah. Like you were sitting there counting it because they were doing instant replays. And it was like, clearly this guy skipped his stone 4 times. And they were like, oh, that's an 8.
Oh.
And it was like, that's not 8 skips. Like, I'm 100% certain I could have whooped
Yeah,
ass.
because I was like, how the fuck do you skip a stone? One stone 18 times. Like the most I've ever gotten was maybe 5 or 6. I don't remember. I haven't skipped a stone in a long time. But if you're going near 20, what kind of arm strength you got, man?
World record is 88 skips. Because you know how
One throw?
One throw. You know how
so
like right when the end
44.
Wait, what? So yeah, basically, it's dumb. Like they were just gave like an extra 6 or 7 at the end of each throw.
see,
But,
I
like,
feel like with that, would there be like specific stones used for that? Like, do
No,
people
it was
have...
literally they found stones before the event, and they all had like 3 because they got 3 attempts, so they all had like 3 stones that they handpicked off the riverbed in their hands. But the like, you know how when you're throwing a stone and it like will bounce and bounce and bounce and have a few clean ones and then do that bullshit like where it bounces off the water like 8 times in a row. Like they were counting all of those as individual skips. So like if it just vibrated across the water, they were like, oh, it's 10.
What?
Yeah. That
I'm
was
just
where they got
curious-
these absurd numbers.
I'm just curious how someone got into that. Like, son, I want you to play football. Dad, I just want to skip stones.
Gabe, this event has been going on for 51 years.
What?
I am dead serious.
So it's not something that they were just like, hey guys, there's nothing on. Let's just create this real quick just to put
That's what I
something on
thought, to be
ESPN.
quite
Yeah.
honest.
It was the 51st annual.
So people took this seriously. Like this is what people have been doing for 50 years prior.
Yeah, 51 years. Yeah.
Why are you
exactly.
surprised when people fucking run after a wheel of cheese down a hill?
They were playing
What?
that on ESPN 88 yesterday as well.
That's how you
Yeah.
never heard of that, Jaime.
No.
Those
Yeah.
videos are
Yeah.
it's like annual. The videos
Yeah.
are popular every year. They it's a giant hill. They throw a wheel of cheese and people run down after it.
Mhm.
You've never
And
seen that?
it's a
No.
steep ass fucking hill.
Yeah,
too.
it's a steep hill, dude. Like
So
there's
people
like
are just running and they just fall and flip like multiple times.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I need to look this
you've
up.
never
today.
seen that.
Hold on.
No.
You're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I've seen this.
Cooper's Hill cheese.
Maybe, I don't
cheese
know.
Rolling. It's Cooper's Hill cheese rolling and wake is what it's called.
Okay, hold on.
It's the gnarliest
Hill
thing.
rolling and weak.
Yeah, it's gnarly. You can look it up on YouTube. It'll be there. And then on top of that, we had professional sign spinning that actually happened here in Vegas, right outside of a bar I go to quite often. Legit though, like those guys were athletic as fuck. If you watch those professional sign spinners, they're doing like one-handed flips and like catching the sign in between their legs and doing all kind of weird shit. And they had all these super athletic guys who were lined up for the professional event, all doing amazing routines. And then they had this 300-pound fat guy come out. And the 300-pound fat guy did everything that the athletic dudes could do, but better, and won first fucking place.
Did he do the splits?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, he did.
Fat people always do the splits.
Dude,
What?
it was so amazing and wholesome. Best thing I watched on ESPN.
I actually have a sign spinning story. So when I was in San Diego, they're actually super popular. Like companies, obviously, you know, have the science things, but it's their second job. They're like, actually, I just do this to practice because I'm a professional sign spinner. And that's the majority of his income. Like, he's like, we're like, oh yeah, you're a sign. He's like, no, I'm a professional. We're like, oh, it's cool, man. Yeah. We get it. He's like, no, I mean, I literally do competitions for it. And he showed us video. And so every day we would just like, you'd catch an arrow to the eye a few times, but he was good. And then at one point there was two of them on like adjacent corners of the
Street
sidewalks. Yeah, the streets. Do they have competitions?
It's legit good. Like here, I'll send a link to the Zoom chat right now of the this was actually 2016.
That's insane, man. What in the fuck?
It's legit impressive. Like those guys are legitimately good. That and the what was the other like?
Fuck, that was so loud.
What'd you do?
The music that started on the World Spinning thing was just like head rocking, like as loud as it was.
Yeah, those guys are good. Those guys are fucking good. They had professional lawnmower races, which I almost got into.
Oh my god, I missed it, man. I missed it.
Oh, dude, I love that street in Vegas.
That's Fremont, yeah.
Oh, Fremont Street.
Yeah, Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Fremont Street's legit.
I spent 3 days in a row for my bachelor party.
I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel like that street's a lot more fun than the main strip.
That's not
cheaper.
unpopular at all. That's where the locals go. Like if we go to the strip, we don't go to the strip. We go to Fremont Street.
The old strip, basically.
It's the old
Dude,
strip.
that one bar that has like the giant beer pong. Oh, the place was dope.
Is that the place we're gonna go after the draft? R.I.P.
They have one of those on the actual strip too now. The giant beer pongs. It's right outside of Caesar's Palace.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's like they're using like big 55-gallon trash cans as
Oh my god.
Dude, they even had Foursquare in there.
Sick.
I don't know why I'm so surprised of all these sports being on ESPN. I mean, when I found out that Quidditch was a thing, I did not believe Gabe.
It would not be on ESPN though.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, it might have been yesterday.
No, that's
pretty cool.
Dude,
human contact.
They had professional dodge juggling on ESPN yesterday, where they had teams of 5. One of them was a juggler. And to be honest, out of everything that I watched, including robot fighting, where the robots were made out of trash, they built trash robots and had their hands and arms, or hands and legs, tied to their own hands and legs. So it was like a robot on sticks that they just used to punch the other robot, like fucking Rock'em Sock'em robots, but made out of garbage. It was dumb as shit. But
Brad, how far did you go into this foxhole, man?
I was legit watching ESPN all day at work yesterday. I brought up a stream and just had it split screened on my computer.
Like, how deep did you go?
All the way down the rabbit hole. But dodge juggling sounds the most exciting. Teams of 5, one's a juggler doing 5-pin juggling in the back, and then the other 4 have to play dodgeball and try and knock the pins down. The problem, which sounds exciting, like you're throwing fucking dodgeballs at a juggler while he's trying to keep the pins in the air. Like, it sounds like it would be fun to watch. Most boring event on ESPN yesterday. Worse than the marble races. Yeah.
That was the most boring?
Yeah, literally what they do is, because they had walls behind either one of the jugglers because they were in like an event center. So what the people on the other team would do, and it counted as a legal move, is they would take the dodgeball and throw it against the back wall, just arc it above everyone like 12 feet in the air, hit the back wall and then knock the pins as they were coming down. So it was literally just whoever grabbed the ball first and arced it into the other guy would win. Like, it was the most boring event. It was so, like, I was hyped for that one, and it was really upsetting. Stone skipping was better.
You hear that, ESPN? Fix your program.
Yeah,
Rules
exactly.
need to be put in place.
Let me see if I can find the trash robot. It was like, what was it? Stupid Robot Fighting League. Yeah, hold on.
I like watching World Championship tag.
What?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like they're in a little arena, and it's like parkour tag, 1-on-1.
Parkour, that's pretty sick.
They have it's parkour, and it's like it's 2 teams, but they send one guy up, and I think they give them like a minute or 40 or maybe 30. It's 30 seconds to a minute. So like they have to, if the guy has to avoid being tagged, then they have to last the whole time. If not, the other team gets the point.
Yeah.
But it's like super legit. It's like crazy.
That was not on the Ocho yesterday.
It's on. There's like 40-minute videos on YouTube.
I'll probably look that up then. That's
I just sent
cool.
the YouTube link I sent to the Stupid Robot Fighting League. Look how dumb that is. And dodge juggling was worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the standards that we have now. Quarantine. This is doing everything to us.
They had video game golf. You know the bar game where they have the like ball in the middle of the arcade cabinet that spins and you use that to like golf?
Yeah.
It's like Golden Tee or something they call it.
Mhm.
They had the world championship of that game on
Jesus.
TV yesterday. Sports are sad right now.
Brad, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Stupid Robot Fighting.
This is definitely going to be a clip on the Instagram.
Stupid Robot Fighting, man. It's the future. It was dumb as shit. They have to try and knock the other robot's head off. Some of the dumbest shit I think I've ever seen. All right. Thank you for watching. This was another episode of a Mike Full podcast. Hope to see you back next week where we give our reactions on the UFC 249 card.
Bye.
Nice.